What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and welcome to a new Wands Day. I have 6 wands to show you guys today, and one of them was inspired by one of you guys, so I'm going to be, highlighting that one for you. Hopefully you guys end up liking at least one of these wands. I try to make a variety of different styles of wands so that you guys, there's one for every type of person, hopefully, in here. Some of them are a little bit darker than others. Some of them are a little bit more whimsical. Some are a little bit more just, cool. And if you guys want to submit your wands for review, send them over to newwandsday@gmail.com. Just follow the rules down below. If you guys don't know, we have a couple rules that you got to follow. And as long as you do those, eventually, most likely, probably, I will show them off in a future video. All of these will be going up on the shop. They may already be gone depending on when you're watching this. Even if you're first, maybe somebody just jumped over to the shop and picked up the wand before you did. If they did, I'm sorry about that. Remember that my wands do come with a little display stand that, let's pretend that this is a wand here, that, your wand can go on top and look all nifty and stuff. And if you're a patron, you'll know that you guys get first dibs. So out of any of these wands, if you're a patron and you're watching this, make sure to contact me and be like, hey, I want to get that one. And if you're first, you can pick it up before anybody else. Usually the patrons get to watch this video about a day or two before everybody else. And that's a way that I thank you guys for being patrons. So thank you. I made these in 2 batches. Basically, one day I made 3 wands and another day I made the other 3 wands. So we're going to start off in the order that I made them. I'm going to try to give you guys a couple of tips on how to do some things that I've learned from making these wands. Anyway, let's just jump into it. I'm rambling a little bit too much. Let's start off with this guy. This is made out of Paduk. It is 13.5 inches long, and it's a fairly simple designed wand. I didn't want to go too crazy. I occasionally try to, keep my wands pretty simple. Keep it simple, stupid. It's a good motto to go by when you're making wands. You can get overzealous and start going ham on it and really end up like just messing up your work and taking away from the wand just because you're making it too busy. I reiterate that pretty much every single video that I make. But this one has some really simple, I like to call them flats. They're like facets, like a gem stone. There's a lot of facets on it, and it basically, the way that you get this effect with the black edges is you take some heat to it and you start cooking it. Basically, obviously the wood is thinner in that spot, so it absorbs the heat faster and it burns faster. So therefore, causing those high spots to go darker. So it's a simple thing to do, but I think if you do it right, it looks really good. I gave this weird big chunk cut out of it there just because I thought that would look really cool. This is all naturally part of the wood, the black parts there. So it's weird. I tried to pull away from the traditional style of guard, handle, pommel. You can see the pommel is pretty much not there, and then you have these 2 parts right here that are almost kind of like 2 guards. You can say that this here is the handle, but it feels good. It's a decently feeling wand. Very simple design. One of my favorites so far. I mean, all of my wands are, well, at least partially my favorites every time I make a new wand. So it's kind of like one of those things that you can't trust my opinion because I like all of them so much, but I like this one. After I made that one, I jumped over, which one did I make next? I started working on this one, and then I ended up coming back and finishing this one, so I'm going to save that one for next after this one. Whatever. Okay, just relax. Take it easy. This one was made out of maple. I know that it looks pretty simple here. It has a nice, simple, smooth, somewhat, whatever. It's a little simple. But then we got a little creativity here. Obviously, I've made other wands like this that have some sort of nice flat end cut all the way through it. I think this one looks really good. I tried to make it almost like Grindelwald's actual wand, where it's almost like a torn piece, and you could say that there's another half to this wand There isn't, but you could say there is. So pretty much this, it kind of has a little bit of an indent there that goes all the way through, and then towards the end here, it actually flattens out or rounds out, I guess you could say, and then it becomes the blade, which I think came out pretty good. I also added in a little bit of a detail right there. We have the Deathly Hallows. I guess I should probably hold it like this. Deathly Hallows logo there, and came out perfect. Perfectly straight. No weird edges on that. It looks pew. And then obviously we did a little bit of burning and then some gradient going up all the way to the handle. And then I tried to keep all of the burning only on one side, basically just so that, I could do this type of thing. Like, yeah, it's pretty simple, it's just a whatever. And then you guys are like, that looks stupid. And then I flip it over and I'm like, oh, boom, look at that. In your hand feels pretty good. Obviously I would probably hold it like this with the flat part on my fingers. And this little guy's on the longer side. It's 14.5 inches, and I think it looks pretty nifty. And then the one that I was talking about, I started working on, and I went back and adjusted some little things, is this Purple Heart guy right here. By the way, this is not a bird head, even though it kind of looks bird-esque. That was not the initial idea behind it. It just ended up looking like a bird towards the end. I was going for a very simplistic, smooth, almost liquid feel to the whole thing. Obviously, we have this little hook here. A fun fact about this little guy right here. It was actually inspired by one of my other ones. Hold on. This guy. If you guys remember this is the original. This is the OG, the first twin wands. If you ever see any other wand like this out there, you know that this is the original. This is where it was created. Another thing that's fun about this is that this is Purple Heart and this is Purple Heart, but you can see that this almost has a brownish reddish tint to it, which I think looks really good. You know what I just realized that makes this look even more like an animal is the fact that this part right here is kind of a little bit lighter than the back because I burned the back. So it almost makes it look like an underbelly. But anyway, the original idea behind this was I wasn't going for this exact look here, but I wanted to kind of have a little bit of a curve, kind of inspired by this. Man, there's like dust and animal fur on this thing. But anyway, that was the original thing for this one right here. For this one. This is 13.5 inches roughly, and we got these little gold accents on here because we all know that Purple Heart in gold, Purple Heart in anything looks really good. It's like black. Black looks good on anybody, right? Purple Heart looks good on any wand. I don't think I've ever seen a Purple Heart wand that I was like, ugh, that color looks so good. Same thing with Padauk. Padauk is always something that just makes me giggle. Padauk's one of my favorite woods, by the way, guys. If you didn't know, it's also one of my favorite woods to work with because it is somewhat soft, so it makes it hard. It makes it easier to cut and sand and all of that. So, fun fact, if you guys ever want to know what one of my favorite woods is to work with, it's that. Fairly simple design. Like I said, I tried to keep it very, very liquid, very fluid all the way through. I didn't want any hard edges. The only hard edge is going to be right there where it swoops. And again, yes, it does look a little bit like a bird, not my intention, but it ended up happening like that. It's just kind of how it works. This is like my what was his name from Power Rangers, the white sword, Saba, the tiger, the white tiger sword, tiger. This is kind of what this reminds me of. This should be like my new mascot, or my mascot, because I don't have an old mascot. This should just be like my mascot. So that was these three. If you're on Patreon right now, you probably already saw these because I did post them a couple days ago. But now we're moving on to the new wands for new WandsDay. Cha. Remember at the beginning when I said that one of the wands that I created was inspired by one of you guys? Funny thing about that is that it was strangely inspired because I had an idea in my head and I was like, where did I come up with this? When did I come up with this? So I basically made that wand and I was like, I know I've seen something similar to this somewhere else. So I started going through all of my emails, all of your submissions, And I was just like, I know I literally spent like a half an hour looking through emails, looking at every single picture to try to figure out where I thought I saw a similar wand to this. And I found it. And I want to show you guys some of his wands and stuff. So I'm going to just show you guys a couple before I forget. It's Ollie Mori. I'll put a link to his Instagram in the description. If you guys want to go check out his Instagram page, posts a bunch of wand pictures like this, and they look really cool. Also, I want to show you guys some of these amazing wands. I will probably go over one of these in a wand review, future wand review video, and mention them again. But just for now, just like, this looks great, that looks great, these look so freaking good. Probably one of my favorite other wand makers out there is Ollie. So great job, man. Just amazing job with all these wands. I think they all look really good and unique and very interesting. And I may have to be inspired by one of your wands in the future again at some point. Hopefully you don't take offense to that. I hope that some of my wands inspire some of your guys' wands as well. Anyway, let's get to the wand, obviously. Okay, so here it is. This is the wand that I'm very in love with this wand right now. I think it looks really, really good. It's probably my favorite wand that I've made this year so far. But I feel like every time I make a new wand, that's like my favorite for the time until I make another batch of wands. But I think this one just looks really good. It kind of reminds me of the Elder Wand a little bit. It has some inspirations from the Elder Wand, and as you can see, there's like those little dimples that are a big part of like what the Elder Wand looks like. The wood as well. This is red heart. This little piece of red heart just like looks, the grain on it was so good, so freaking good. I'm honestly contemplating keeping this one for myself. Even Meekachii was like, you shouldn't get rid of that wand, you should keep that wand. I was like, yeah, but I don't know, maybe I should. That's basically what I did with my current wand right now, the Osage wand. This one just looks so freaking good. This guy is exactly roughly right on the 12-inch mark, which I think is a very fair size for a wand. It's a little bit on the shorter side. People don't tend to not like 12-inch wands, but I think that it's a good size. There's a couple of facets right there as well, as you can see. There are the little flats on there. Flatsits. Oh, that sounds like poop or fart. Anyway, enough talking about that wand. I really like it. Let me know what you guys think. All right, and now let's move on to this little guy right here. And this one is interesting. It is made out of sycamore. This is sycamore wand, and sycamore's interesting. Sycamore's a very simple. It's a very how do you say this? It's a very soft wood to work with, in my opinion. Like sanding it, sandpaper just eats through it. It just annihilates it. It's very soft, but it's still sturdy and feels good. I would never bend my wands because they're wood. They will break. The Noble Collection wands are definitely a little bit sturdier than real wood. So obviously we have two inserts there, which I think came out really cool. This wand, you would hold it. It's pommel heavy, obviously. You would hold it here. This is very flat there and here, and then we have it's a little bit wider that way. I don't know why, but I wanted to kind of have these two little flat sides here, almost like where you're gonna grab it there, right, to do your stuff, to do your magic and all that. Obviously, all of these wands have a nice satin finish to them. I tend to not go for the gloss unless I'm trying to do something specifically for a reason of some sort. There isn't much to say about this wand. It is pretty simple. It's a little burnt. I got to get some of this dust off of it. I still have to do one more coat of finish on all of these wands. So don't mind the little bit of dust that ended up getting on them. Okay, if you guys see that in the shot, it's not going to be in the final product. A simple design here. It's just very burnt on this side, and then we obviously went in and less burnt towards the end. And then obviously I went in and actually sanded this down a bit just to get it nice and smooth, and some of these high spots to make those pop out a little bit. I wanted it for the most part to be black here so that the copper popped more, because if it was too light, you wouldn't see it as much. It would just be a hole, and the color of the orange would be too similar to the yellowy color here. You could still see it. It just wouldn't be as interesting. It wouldn't be as catchy to the eye. You wouldn't be like, oh, dang, what's that? Why is that orange? What? And this guy is just shy of 12 inches. So it's like 11 and 3/4, something like that. But you can see here, right? You can see how thin that is. I thought that would look pretty interesting there. And that was the point. That was the thing behind this one. And this guy is made out of leopard wood, and it is 14 inches long. It was mostly made on the lathe. That's how I made all of these parts here. But then I went back in and I added some facets to it. I'm not sure if I'm using that term right, facets. I think I am, but I think it came out pretty good. Obviously, we added a little bit of burning to make the grain pop. Leopard wood just has this amazing grain. And then obviously right here we got a little bit of I was going kind of for like a gunmetal-y silver black color, and that's what we did to these. This right here is black, and then here we have a little bit more of that gunmetal as well. What I try to do with this is obviously add the organic to the machined and still just make it look a little classy, right? So it's very guard heavy, I would say, because that's really the main focus of that. I would say the whole handle is, but the guard is the part that's, you know, the biggest, heaviest part of it. There's a lot of different ways you can hold this. It's more of a center hold as opposed to pommel heavy or like a guard. You kind of hold it more towards the middle. That's where it almost feels more comfortable. Even right there, I guess you could hold it there as well. By not painting this or not changing the color on this part right here, the handle part, I was able to kind of incorporate the blade into the handle and just kind of make it flow a little bit better. If I made this whole section here, this black, silvery, gunmetal-y color, I feel like it would be too much like a lot of other wands are, where it's just like, here's the handle, here's the spout, here's my spout, whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. That's this guy. I obviously added this little ball there. There isn't a lot to say about it. It looks like this. I think it looks pretty good. So let me know out of all of these, which one is your favorite. I am going to have to say this guy right here, man. This red heart one just looks so good. Just so good. It's my favorite. It's my favorite, obviously, as you guys can tell. It's probably one of the simplest designs out of all of them as well, but it's just thanks to my inspiration, my muse, Ollie Mori, for inspiring me to make this guy. It looks really good, and his wand looks really good too, and I will show you guys more of that in the wand review coming up in the future. I don't know when. I'm not going to give you an exact date, okay? Can I live my life? Can I breathe a little bit? Like, I just feel like so stressed out sometimes. You guys just put so much pressure on me. Like, can I just leave me alone? Like, your comments, they're like, oh man, I love that wand. Oh, why don't you have more wands in the shop? Like, come on, guys. On a serious note though, these wands are all going to be up in the shop. If they're not already sold out, go check them out. If there are no wands on the shop as of right now, there will be more in the future. I will not be remaking any of these. So if you missed out, you missed out. I'm sorry about that. That's the rules of the shop, all right? There are other wand makers out there. If you want them to just make you the same thing over and over, there's a bunch of them out there. Go check them out. They're good. There's a lot of good other makers out there. And guys, that wraps it up for this new Wands Day. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys come back for some more wands maybe later this week, maybe next time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and you guys stick around for some more wand related videos and some book related stuff. We do that too. Remember, if you guys want to join the Patreon page and join us and support us and be able to access these wands a little bit sooner, then make sure to jump over. The link will be at the end of the video, also down in the description. Thank you guys for watching once again, and I hope to see you in the future. Bye, bye, bye.